From the former convent of the Good Shepherd overlooking Inwood Hill Park in New York City, welcome to Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where we meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes who make their home what we affectionately call Upstate Manhattan. I'm your host, Aaron Sims. Today, we welcome visual artist Suzanne Russo. Suzanne is a New York City-based artist and illustrator. She is inspired by her love of the city and walks around her neighborhood Washington Heights and Inwood, influenced by working 20 years as a fashion designer. She is drawn to interesting mixes of color, pattern, and texture. She looks to capture the beauty of her neighborhood and surroundings in a real way using primarily marker and inks. We're going to talk to her about her work, but first, we welcome you, Suzanne, to Inwood Art Works On Air. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha, you betcha. And so how you been?
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Rainy day, not too easy, not a great day to go out and sketch anything. So maybe from the inside, right?
Yeah, a little hectic with the kids and all, but
yes,
when I can find time.
Exactly. Well, as I mentioned, you have a background in fashion design, and I was curious: is sketching a part of the process and getting ideas down on paper? I was just curious if that's how it kind of came about.
Yeah, it's always been. I kind of switched direction in my career recently to print design, but it's still the same. Art's always been, a daily thing for me, sketching and drawing.
And there's something too. It's like computers are all AutoCAD and things like that, and stylus pens. I have one for my laptop. I still haven't taken it out of the box yet, so sorry, manufacturers, HP, don't be mad at me. But there's something too. Like I love writing with the pencil.
Yeah.
I love having I do a Google Calendar, I guess, on my phone too, whatever. But I love being able to write down dates and make lists and color and make little doodles in the paper and create whatever's in your mind out of it. So there's something to that learning process and also to in the application of how you're feeling and putting that through onto the paper.
Yeah.
A little different, right?
It is. It's definitely different. I have a harder time using the pen, and I do have to use it at work to get everything into the computer, but sometimes I have to put a pencil on paper first.
Yeah, get those ideas expressed correctly. So is that why you use pencil, ink, and marker then?
I guess as opposed to digital?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I kind of feel like it's more fun for me to have that sort of hands-on experience with it. And they just kind of behave different, or maybe I don't have enough experience as a digital artist. I don't want to, for me, it's easier to work with them as well.
Well, I say when you dissolve into the whole fear of which software to use or whatever, stuff like that on digital. I'm always use the one that you like. It's good for you. Yeah. It's it's why there's multiple pens to buy at whatever, however it fits your hand, however it works out best for you. And so that's how I feel about it for me. So when did you start sketching the Heights, and what prompted you to?
So I started actually during COVID. And I had lost my job at the time, so I kind of didn't really have anything to do, and I was just looking for some sort of kind of purpose or a way to shape my day. And I just was noticing the neighborhood so much more because I was spending so much more time here. So I kind of started it as a little project to keep myself busy, and it kind of grew. And
so you must have taken some great gratification from that and seeing what you're doing and going, oh, I did this.
Yeah.
And so it became kind of a series then, and turned into a solo show, right? You had a solo show at Kura.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
How cool was that?
It's very cool. Yeah. I always wanted to have more time to do art and to focus on actually being an artist versus just incorporating it in work. So it was nice.
Yeah. And so how long did that show run for, and what was the response to it?
It was very positive. I think I put it up in September, and it ran through the end of October, I think.
Okay.
About a month and a half. It was late getting it up, unfortunately, but
hanging a show is almost as hard as creating the show.
Yeah.
The admin, right? Putting it all together. Well, I know what that's all like. But you also do, so that's just for fun, but you also do commissioned work as well, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a little less lately, but I do.
Gotcha. And you have some of that stuff, you have an Etsy store, is that right?
Yes, I have an Etsy shop.
Very cool. And so I'm always curious, the do-it-yourself culture. Is Etsy worth it? What do you think?
I think so. I sell prints on Etsy, mostly not originals, and so it's just kind of an easy way for people who are interested in buying a print to like not have to contact me, and then kind of I have to get their shipping. So it just facilitates it.
Yeah. Gotcha. And they can track things for you too, right?
Yeah, if I enter it in,
Yeah.
it tracks it. It's
Nice to know for your taxes at the end of the year or whatever you have to do.
Yeah,
Your small, or small business wise.
It makes things easier for sure.
Yeah.
Although I guess if you didn't do Etsy, it would just kind of be off the books.
But the question is, I guess my question is, do they help marketing? Do people find you through Etsy, or is it kind of like just basically like a virtual storefront for you?
I think people have found me through Etsy. I think actually a TV series that's coming out that's based in the Heights is using my work. And,
really?
Yeah, and I think that they found me through Etsy. They just searched.
Can you share who it is?
I think so. It's The Heart of Dolores Roach. It's a podcast that they're turning into a series on Amazon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think I'm just not allowed to share pictures of what the set looks like.
Gotcha. But can you share pictures of your sketches for them or your prints?
Yeah, I mean the prints are all online. They're not originals. Like they just use
gotcha.
prints.
I didn't know if they commissioned you or not.
This wasn't a commission. They just bought like a lot of existing prints of the neighborhood.
Great.
Yeah, so I think that they found me on Etsy, so it's good to be on there.
Yeah, right on. And weren't you a poster as well at a telephone booth?
Yes. Yeah.
In the neighborhood?
The voting campaign.
What was that all about?
That was ranked choice voting. They used a bunch of different artists from the neighborhood here and I think other neighborhoods. Just, I guess it's sort of a local-based campaign.
Cool. You know what? Whatever works for you, right?
Yeah.
Get your work out there. But it's pretty amazing how much your work has gotten out there, I think.
Yeah, I think the response has been really exciting, and that I've been able to do it now for 3 years.
Yeah.
There's still interest and. Yeah.
Are there any particular favorite blocks you like to sketch?
I think I just sketch a lot, like right around my apartment. I noticed.
Are you saying you're a lazy person?
Probably.
or you're just a mother of kids and you don't want to, you're kind of anchored by the kids, of course.
Yeah, I think so. And it's just
That's only so much energy a person has.
I think you just see the same places and you keep seeing it in a different light or a different time of day, or I don't know, just something finally like grabs you about it, and then I'm like, oh, I want to draw this,
Yeah.
Versus like if you see something once, it might not be the right time of day, like when you pass it, so it doesn't look as interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very cool to find out, how and sketching things like I have friends who. Alyssa Gore, who's been on our podcast too, she's a plein air artist, amongst other things, works on watercolors and all sorts of things. She has a whole series down painting the bridge or the cherry blossom tree, and there's numerous versions of it. It's like, but each are so different from when you paint them or when you draw them.
Yeah.
And so something reveals itself, be it the light, be it the day, be it how you're feeling.
Yeah, it changes a lot. The same thing looks completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, but just different experiences, and it's great to have your interpretations of them to kind of show us those feelings and those points of view. So do you have what are you focused on now? Can we look forward to seeing any upcoming exhibitions or plans for a collection of work?
I'm trying to work on some more like nighttime stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I've had a little bit of a difficult time finding time to work lately.
Sure.
But, that's my goal is I took a little break, so I'm trying to get back into it again.
All right.
Yeah.
Like we see nighttime stuff. What do you mean by that?
Like night scenes.
Okay.
I've usually everything's during the day or like kind of a high contrast of like light and dark and shadow. So I'm trying to see if I can incorporate that same thing, but with night using like the artificial lights.
That's great. That's fantastic. And you have such a great, the great news about our neighborhood is that with the different levels, and you obviously have the bridges, and you have the parks, and so you have nature that you don't get downtown quite a bit.
Yeah.
So literally finding that version of it, sounds like a great show for another art gallery at some point. Maybe, I don't know, where else you exhibit Kira or Booney does stuff, Inwood Farm does stuff. There's a lot of others. Sounds like a great series to go after.
Yeah.
So do you teach too by any chance? I was curious. Do you teach drawing by any chance?
No, I don't teach.
I was just curious. Like this, have a style to yourself that because people want to take lessons from you, and get inspired by your work.
I don't think I do things like the proper way, so I'm not sure I should teach people.
What is the proper way? Come on.
I don't know. I'm not
there's no
I guess I'm
proper
not
way.
classically educated on the proper use of techniques.
I mean, listen, the best art's personal, right?
Yeah.
Like coming from you. So it's no, it's really great. It's really very, very fantastic. And so moving forward then, you have all this time. Are your children artistically bent at all? Are they interested in all doing things?
Not at all. Not even a little. I can't even get them to do like crafts.
What?
I know.
God. Do you come from a creative background at all? I mean, other than fashion, I mean, like when you were a kid, like did you draw? Like did you have interest in the arts or like painting or anything?
Yeah, I always liked drawing, painting, all that, sort of thing. It was always something I was.
So it was encouraged.
Yeah, but my parents didn't. So it's not like a family thing.
So maybe your children are returning to your parents, like it skips a generation.
Yeah, maybe my grandkids.
Well, that's awesome. It's too funny. Well, and who knows? We also need patrons for the arts too. People who buy the work, right?
Yeah, my older son enjoys going to the shows and looking, and he likes to speak with all the artists, and so he's interested. He just doesn't like doing it.
Gotcha. So how long does it take you to sketch something usually?
I mean, honestly, they're not really sketches. They're kind of like these full-on drawings, depending on the size.
Correct. They're full-on drawings.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, well, I know I call them sketches myself, but
I was going with the branding there.
Yes, I know. That's how it started, sketches.
Right.
I don't know. Sometimes they take like 20 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of like really labor over like teeny details.
Mm-hmm.
And I layer a lot of color, so I'll, it's like working in multiple layers, and then it's a lot of stopping and starting just because I'm working at night or around my schedule. So I think maybe that kind of slows things down a little bit because you have to like warm up.
Do you have a process like you kind of go through every time?
Yeah, I guess I kind of work the same way. First, like a light pencil sketch, and then I put like, darker ink outlines, and then I work back with like the lighter colors, the darker colors, but I don't think it depends on the piece and what I'm in the mood to do. And sometimes I'll just do one area completely and like leave the rest blank. And then, so it's not always the same.
Well, it's good you mix it up. And main thing is please yourself first, right?
Yeah.
Make sure it's interesting to you, then it'll be interesting to others.
Yeah, I think so. And that's part of why I kind of stepped away from the commissions a little bit.
Yeah.
It's because it's more fun to just do something if you just think it's interesting. And
Gotcha. All right, folks. So she's not doing commissions right now, so quit calling her and bothering her. But maybe at some point in the future. So where, for those who are interested, where can we send people to find out more about your projects?
Definitely my Instagram, which is Sketching the Heights, and I guess my website, but really my Instagram is where I keep things the most up to date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much, Suzanne, for being here. And is there anything else you want to talk about your work or about the Heights?
Oh, I love the Heights. I love living here. The community is amazing, and the artist community is amazing. All the artists up here are so supportive of one another and really try to build one another up and open new opportunities up for each other.
Absolutely. That's what we try to do.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll hear or listen to this episode and go, where was that Instagram handle again?
Yes,
Let's go
I
back to
hope
that. Well, very good. So thanks again to Suzanne Russo for joining me on this Artist Spotlight episode of Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where I meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes who make their home here in Upper Manhattan. If you have a moment, please show us some love right now by rating and reviewing this podcast on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. Many thanks to Church of the Good Shepherd here in Inwood for hosting us, and to Heightssites.com for uptown local support. You can support On Air and all of our programming making a tax-free donation at inwoodartworks.nyc/donate or via Venmo at Inwood Artworks. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up all that we do, which includes the Inwood Film Festival, Filmmakers Al Fresco, pop-up art galleries, live performances, and so much more. Inwood Art Works On Air is proud to be supported in part by public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. And Inwood Art Works programming is made possible by the State Council on the Arts with the support of the Office and the Governor of the New York State Legislature. From top Manhattan and the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Aaron Sims for Inwood Art Works On Air.